Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see I'm out on a beautiful day, and I thought I've been meaning to do this for a while. Since I've had the bike, which is about 3 years now, I've put quite a lot of accessories or done modifications to the bike, so I thought I'd list out what are my favourite ones. And not really, I was going to do it as a top 5, but there's probably more than 5, and I was going to put them in order of my favourite ones, but I don't know, I think that's quite difficult, because you know what one person likes another person doesn't and everything, so and to be honest with you, I think it'd be quite difficult to choose. So I'll probably number them, but this is no particular order, and we'll start off with, I think, the most common one, that when somebody gets a bike, what they do to it, and that is fit a tail tidy. So and I was no different really. I fitted the tail tidy. I went for the R&G one. No particular reason. I didn't really do a lot of shopping around. I saw it, thought it looked okay. It's not actually the best fit, but it does the job. I've also put a smaller plate on it. I'm going to I'll put a few, as I do each one of these, I'll put some pictures up of each of the mods, and I've put the 7x5 plate on it, which okay, is slightly illegal, but it actually went through the MOT okay, so, and it's not stupidly illegal. So yeah, so that's sort of like the first one that I think most people would actually do. So the next one is again one of the more common things that people do, but I'm actually going to put the next three and lump them all together as such. Ooh, ride that clutch, Steve. And I'm going to lump them all together because they all sort of like go hand in hand with each other. And the first one of those three is aftermarket cans. And I looked around for quite a while before I purchased the cans, and the ones that I bought, which if you follow my channel you'd already know, but I bought the Leo Vince GP, and they're a little bit different in that they're a little bit more, they're like cone shaped, which if you get the Arrow ones, or there's quite a few. There's the Acro do some, SP Engineering. Not many of them are actually that cone shaped, and I actually quite liked that, even if it's a case of just being a little bit different. But I also just like the sound of them. So I waited until I got the right opportunity come along, and I purchased them and put them on. And the reason I'm sticking this in with two other things is, it sort of like goes hand in hand, because I also fitted a K&N air filter. So the theory being less restriction, I should say, on the air coming in, and less restriction on the exhaust gases going out, allows the engine to breathe a lot easier. It actually gives you a better, the K&N gives you a slightly better intake roar, and obviously the cans give you the pops and whistles and just make the bike sound just so much nicer, like that. And so the third thing out of those three, when putting them together, is actually having the bike remapped. So new air filter, or K&N air filter, the Leo Vince GP cans, and then I had a remap done by Triumph, and those three things together are an excellent modification to any bike. So I think, you know, a lot of people will only fit a K&N, and a lot of people will only fit a new can without even getting it mapped. But I think if you do all those three together, then you're onto a winner, really. It tends to run a little bit smoother. Before I had it remapped, I had the air filter and cans on, and it wasn't bad, but once I got it done, you realise that it just runs a lot smoother. It doesn't run so lean. It's sort of like, it did cut out some of the pops and excuse me, pops and whistles a little bit, but not so much that you don't get them. So yeah, so those three things are the next ones on my list, and again I'll put some pictures up of those. Right, the next one on my list, not such an obvious one really, but I changed the front brake pads, which I'm assuming when I bought the bike, having quite low mileages, was still OEM ones, so the original Triumph ones. And because I've done a few track days and everything, I wanted something with a little bit more bite, and I bought the EBC sintered pads, and the difference to the braking feel and the actual action of the brakes slowing down the bike is absolutely unbelievable compared to OEM. So the downside on it, I would say, is that they wear out a lot quicker. They're not cheap, and they do wear down a lot quicker than the OEM ones, but I think when it comes to brakes, you need to have the best that you can get, especially when you're actually doing a track day. So yeah, so that was the next one on my list. So now I think we're on to, I think, the fourth one, and again, I don't think anybody would really be that surprised, but bar end mirrors. The OEM ones, and they're okay. They did the job. They were nothing spectacular. You could see out of them okay. They didn't rattle about or anything, but they just looked hideous. So I got these ones, and I'll try and find the link. I got them off eBay. They're not like 3 pistons, they're not Triumph official ones, they weren't mega amounts of money. Off the top of my head, it was something like about 30-40 pounds, something along those lines. But they just, one, they make the bike look a lot better, but two, I think they're just a lot more functional. So yeah, so that's lost count now. I think that was number 4 on the list. Okay, so I think we're on to about number 5 now, not that I'm counting. And the next one, I'm going to say the rear hugger. When I bought the bike, it had some pathetic little carbon rear hugger on it, which was just a bloody joke. So I purchased the one that I've got on there now, which insert photo, which I think looks really cool and does quite a good job as well. So yeah, and I think anything carbon looks good, and sometimes you can overdo it with carbon, but I think that that particular item looks pretty good. It's insane you can overdo it. I've got my eye on a couple of other bits of carbon that I wouldn't mind putting on at a later date, and one of them is actually the chain guard. I wouldn't mind getting a carbon one of those, which I think would look nice. So yeah, so the rear hugger, that was a nice mod. So now we're on to the sixth one. Now I think with the sixth one it was a modification, but it wasn't actually putting something on the bike, it was actually taking something off. Again, when I bought the bike, the previous owner had put on the double bubble screen on the front, and at first I thought it looked okay, and I thought it was actually there more to serve a purpose than, excuse me, to actually look good. But then looking at a lot of the other bikes that didn't have them on, I just thought they just looked a lot cleaner. The lines looked a lot cleaner. So I experimented by taking it off, just to see if there was a big difference in the wind at high speed and things. And to be honest with you, didn't really notice. So because it looked so much better. I left it off, so and I put that down as one of my better modifications, because the bike, anything that makes the bike look better, it's got to be a good mod. So yeah, so that was number 6, I think, or 7. I don't know. I've lost count. So anyway, the next one, I think we'll go with yeah, indicators. Now I've experimented a little bit with indicators. I started off by painting the housings of the OEM ones, and they looked alright. It wasn't too bad. But then I wanted something that was a little bit smaller. So I did a video on budget ones, and I got, actually, to be honest with you, I got quite a good amount of views on it. So so I left them on there for about a year, and then I saw, I think it was on one of the Facebook pages, somebody that had, oh no, actually it wasn't on the Facebook page, I think I actually just saw them on Amazon, and thought, oh, you know what, I'll take a punt on them. And it's the sequential indicators, and these ones have got a little bit, do a little bit more in that they've got the daytime running lights on the front, and the rear brake lights flash. And again, there's a video, I'll stick a link to it up in the corner, and those are still on there. So I might just stick a little clip in of the actual function of those, and just to show, in case you haven't seen the video, but I'll put a link to the video that demonstrates them as well. So yeah, so they were a really nice mod actually, and one of the nicer ones I thought. And again, I get quite a lot of questions on the channel about those. So right, so now I think I've covered most of them. What else have I done? I've done so much to the bike, it's hard to remember. The other, just this is just a real weird one. Again, when I bought the bike, it had the, and you can see it there on the right hand side, the short Triumph levers, and I wasn't really getting on with them too well, and so I changed them again, they were the Chinese ones. They weren't mega amounts of money, and I bought the longer ones, which are the ones, I don't know if you can see them there. They're the ones on the left there, and they were okay, but I found it was just one of those like eureka moments where I found that it was much better with the long one on the brake and the short one on the long one on the clutch and the short one on the brake. And so I changed it to that configuration, which I've left it in now for quite some time, and that's the one that I tend to get on with. So yeah, so that's another, just one of those more weird mods that I've done. So again, anyway, I hope you've found that of interest. If you've got anything else that you'd like to add to those, or suggestions, then let me know in the comments below. And until the next time, thanks for watching. Bye.